Following on from my video about improvising over Miles Davis's tune So What, I received many positive comments, but there was one comment that stuck out for me, and I thought I'd follow this up with part 2. And it was somebody saying, look, I've just started. Can you make it a bit simpler? I can't play that much yet on the piano. I've only been playing for so long. And I thought, well, actually, this is a very, very good point anyway for beginning improvising, especially over something like this, where you have one chord for 16 bars. We've got 16 bars of D minor, and then 8 bars of E flat minor, and then back to D minor for another 8 bars. You think, well, what do you do? Well, I went through this a little bit last time with structuring, but actually, let's get started with just 3 notes. Let's have a look. So over D minor 7, you can have any white note at all to improvise with. Now, with all of those notes, you sort of lose some of the freedom, perhaps. You're thinking, well, what do I do? There's too much freedom almost. So we have D all the way to D, well, any of these notes that you can use. Pick 3, maybe pick the D, and the C, and the F. Just make something up with those. Now, the trouble with all of these notes, if you play lots of things, it's like you're meant to be telling a story. So you wouldn't say, for example, the manhole cover opened in the road and a purple monkey dishwasher came out of it, spewing green words. Yeah, something might have gone in my breakfast cereal this morning. Or you could say, I opened the window this morning and there was the landscape, the sun was just coming up and the mist was hugging the river. That's a bit of a better story. It just sets a scene a bit. You can do the same with music. Now I'm going to play something, I'm going to play the backing track off here, and then I'm just going to use those 3 notes. So we had D, C, and F. Now, we have to kind of be quite direct with what we play. There has to be an intent there. So it could be this. So I used the D twice. And then develop on that idea. So we go do do ba ba da ba da do da. Don't know. See what happens. So I just had those 3 notes and nothing else. You could change the order of them. I started on the D, but I could start on the F, for example. Now, a good way of this intent that I was just talking about just now is to actually play the same thing with both hands, maybe an octave apart, maybe 2 octaves apart. 2 octaves apart sounds quite cool as well. That sort of thing. So you're putting your 2 hands on. Now, of course, your hands are a mirror image of each other, so this does take a little bit of coordination, but you can just play it slowly. You could do this. That sort of thing. You just take those 3 notes, 2 octaves apart or 1 octave. Or you could start getting flashy and do thirds. Because it's white notes only, you can create some quite cool harmonies between the hands. Why not? The backing track that I'm using on iReal Pro here is the Guitar Trio preset, which has bass drums and an electric guitar, sort of a jazz guitar sound, which is great, so it doesn't get in the way of the timbre of your piano. So if you're not using chords yet, it's actually quite a nice way of doing it, just to have softer chords rather than the sort of piano sort of stabs, that kind of thing. So we had 2 octaves or 1 octave apart. Now notice that I'm trying to put in more sort of complicated rhythms, or not complicated, but not just stuff that's on the beat. It's a little bit boring just to do something like this. You know, go with those drums. Ding, 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 ding. So this doesn't just apply to jazz. This would be if you're, I don't know, playing piano on somebody's record or improvising on something, you know, that is more rock and pop, for example. You do the same sort of things. You do some syncopation, some different rhythms, different dynamics as well. Many people are tempted to just play staccato notes, partly because they're sort of scared. You think, oh, this note's not going to work. You go, oh, no, it doesn't sound any good. Oh. Just go with it. So try some legato and staccato stuff, and also lots of dynamics. Of course, it went to E flat there, and I had forgotten. As many people do when they play this tune, you think, where's E flat coming? And everyone's sort of going, is it now? No. It's one of those tunes where you can easily get caught out. Now, with the black notes, you could use any of the, E flat minor, which is the second, well, you've got 16 bars of D, then 8 bars of E flat minor. You can use any of the black notes, plus F and C. So you can go. You could make something of the F and C bits there. Now, the answer is with something like this, any note it really is fair game. But we're getting into the purple monkey dishwasher coming out of the manhole spewing green liquid or whatever it was. Green words, that's what I said. I don't know where I got my imagination from, but yeah, we'll leave it at that. So you could do anything. A chromatic scale, which uses all of the notes of the octave, includes all the black notes and all the white notes. You're playing the smallest possible increment every time. It's a way of sort of dressing up a note. And as long as you land on a note that works, it's pretty legitimate. Let's have a go at that. So I'll play something that doesn't work first. So unless you're really pushing the boundaries of music and you want to reduce your audience to people who are sort of appreciative of things pushing forward, that's fine. You can do anything like that. It's absolutely fine. And actually, when you listen to modern sort of progressive jazz, there are a lot of that sort of bending of the rules and seeing what's sonically possible starts to come out. But I know lots and lots of jazz musicians, and I know a few of them who are a little bit bitter, perhaps, that their music is not appreciated, because actually we're brought up with simpler things. You listen to rock and pop on the radio, a bit of blues, a bit of soul. Lots of this is about groove and about actually getting a vibe there. And if that's not there, it becomes really tricky to listen to. So start simple. Little chromatic there. Don't be afraid of repeating notes, and if you have that dynamic sort of colour, that makes all the difference, because you can really ba 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 da. It just makes people go, oh yeah, what's coming? And they kind of get themselves into that sort of zone. So simple ideas work really well, and dress them up as and when you see fit. Don't forget, the whole playing the same thing 2 octaves apart does give you that sort of, you can't just play random stuff in one hand and expect that the other hand will catch up. They have to do the same thing. You know, you could restrict yourself. You could say, I'm not going to use the root note. I'm not going to use the notes of D minor, D, F and A, because they're in the backing track. So what that sounds like. Yes, I did hit the D, F and the A once or twice along the road there, but I had all of the other notes. So a really good way to sort of immediately push those harmonic boundaries is to avoid the notes that are actually in the chord. I talked about this last time with the minor third, the F in D, actually being one of the notes that doesn't work so well, partly because of the voicings that you get for a D minor 9 chord, for example. There are so many better choices than that. So have fun, just take things, enjoy the backing track. I mean, the iReal Pro backing here sounds really nice. You can just set it to go round 30 times, and you sort of look at your watch and it's 2:30 in the morning. But there's masses that you can do with just basic ideas, and just to have fun with it.